So we'll just continue our short few quotes. Am I audible? Yes. I'm audible at the back? Okay. So we'll just continue a short few quotes on Sri Aindra Prabhu. Something to talk about is Aindra Prabhu, as you all know, was very much into Kirtan, right? So does everybody know that, or is it a new news? Hari Bol, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So Aindra Prabhu was very much into performance of Kirtan. But then one question always kept being asked to him by his god brothers and everything. So all of you are in Krishna consciousness and you know. So what are the two forms of chanting the holy name that we do? Two. Okay. Japa and Kirtan. What is the difference between Japa and Kirtan? Somebody?
Japa do alone,
Huh.
Kirtan do together.
Japa you do alone.
Alone or combined?
Okay.
Kirtan always together.
Okay. So Prabhu is saying Japa you do alone, Kirtan you do together. Any others? Any other thing?
Japa is self-chanting and Kirtan is making others chant.
Okay. So Japa is self-chanting, Kirtan is making others chant except for the Kirtaniya. Correct? Is that right?
Kirtaniya also allows,
Encourages others to chant. Actually, Kirtan or Samyak Kirtan, Sankirtan means we are not encouraging anybody to chant. Initially, yes, we are encouraging devotees to chant, no doubt. But when devotees sit in a group of Kirtan, everybody is individually motivated to do the chanting because the person left, right, front, back, everybody is chanting the holy name of the Lord. So therefore it becomes congregational chanting. Now the question is Japa important? Hare Krishna. Is Japa important or Kirtan important?
Both are important.
How important is it? So if a person doing only Japa is good, or if a person doing only Kirtan is good?
both is good because it uplifts the soul, it purifies the consciousness.
Right. So one popular thing that used to happen in the early 90s, because they used to see Aindra Prabhu do so much Kirtan, that the young boys were following Aindra Prabhu's footsteps. You know, Aindra Prabhu is playing harmonium, so I'll also play the harmonium in the same style. At the back, devotees, kindly, if we can have little bit of silence. Hare Krishna. Neeta Mataji, if you can ask devotees to be a little silent in the back. So, where was I?
Following the...
So the young boys, 17, 18, 16-year-old boys, even sometimes 20, 21-year-old boys, they would follow Aindra Prabhu's footsteps, and Aindra Prabhu would play Kirtan in a certain way, which is and they were very good at grasping. So they would grasp the way the harmonium was played, or the way the tune was sung, etc. and etc. They would do stuff like that. So some senior devotees in the temple would come and say, Haribol, how come you're not doing your japa today? So they would hold their chargers, throw it up, and with a lot of ego they would say, Prabhu, we're doing 6 hours worth of Kirtan every day. We don't have time for japa. Correct? So they would say that, and they felt that because they were doing Kirtan, they were above the rest of all. 6 hours of Kirtan is a lot. For us to sit for 1 hour of Kirtan is very difficult. Is it true? Is it true? We shift, we move around. We hear Aarti bells, we run upstairs because we want to stretch our legs. Also we want to see the Lord, I'm not saying that. But then we move around places, right? When Prabhupada is telling in the first canto of Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada is telling what? Prabhupada is telling that there is 2 types of Bhagavatas. And this is, Aindra Prabhu always used to emphasize this. There is a devotee Bhagavata and there is a book Bhagavata. Who is more important? Both are important, but somebody is really more important. This is not a trick question. The person Bhagavata is more important. Why? Because book you can open and read, but you cannot understand. You need a devotee Bhagavata to make you understand the book Bhagavata. The book is considered to be the Lord himself, but the devotee is the person who knows the Lord. So therefore, if you want to understand the Lord, you have to follow in the footsteps of the devotee. So therefore, the glorification of the devotee is more and more important than the glorification of the Lord Himself. Because if you try to glorify the Lord yourself, you're weakened. You're weak. We are weak. We can't do it. So for example, if Srila Prabhupada were sitting here, right here, and giving a class, would any of you leave the class? Why you would not leave the class? Why should you not leave the class? Because we need to take darshan of the deities, the deity altar is opening, we need to do all of that. Why? Why are you not leaving?
Hearing is important than
Hearing is important than
seeing.
Yes. You cannot see the Lord with your eyes, you have to hear the Lord. That is why out of the 9 process of devotional service, the first aspect is called Shravana means hearing. Hearing from devotees, exactly. So therefore, Aindra Prabhu always focused so much on Kirtan, that he said that even if a blind man would walk into Vrindavan temple, or any temple for that matter, he cannot see the beauty of the Lord. So does that mean a blind person is not privileged enough to see the Lord's beautiful decorations and all of those embellishments? Does that mean that the blind man is lost in his tracks? No. He just has to simply sit and hear, and then he will just be elevated from there. So that is why Kirtan was very important. But then coming back to the boys' point of view, they said we are doing so much Kirtan, why we should do chanting? It's the same. Japa is also Hare Krishna, the same Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Kirtan also the same Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So one of the devotees went to Aindra Prabhu and said, Prabhu, you're doing so much great activities, but all the devotees who are following you, they're coming with these statements. So Aindra Prabhu said, you should know me better. So this was Aindra Prabhu's god brother. So he said, you should know me better than this. Right? You should know me better than this. Every day I chant close to 112 rounds. Plus 6 hours of Kirtan. Plus deity worship for he had about 1000 Shaligram Shilas. Anybody who don't know what a Shaligram Shila is? No, everybody knows. Okay. So he had 1000 Shaligram Shilas and he would do Abhishek for them every day. He would decorate them every day. And now one might question, 6 hours of Kirtan, we take roughly 2 hours to chant 16 rounds. And the Prabhu used to do it a little faster. If you would chant 112 rounds, that would be close to, I want to say 7 to 8 hours of day. 8 plus 6 is 14. And then he used to do all the deity worship, that would oiling and giving a massage to all the 1000 Shaligram Shilas and preparing 32 preparation bhoga for the deities. That would take at least another 3-4 hours. Now the question is, even while one question one might ask, that there is Prabhupada says a common saying in Bhagavad Gita, that religion without philosophy is fanaticism, right? Religion without philosophy is fanaticism, but philosophy without religion is sentimental. So this movement is not about sentiment, right? And neither is it about fanaticism. So now the question might come that, okay, because it's Aindra Prabhu, so we're talking about Aindra Prabhu here, that he did 6 hours of Kirtan, he did so much japa, and he did a lot of deity worship, but where is the philosophy coming? Right? Aindra Prabhu even never missed reading. Aindra Prabhu in his lifetime has read the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam 12 plus times. 12 plus times. Bhagavatam is 18,000 verses. In pages it's like, how many? Does anybody have a number for the pages? It's huge. Fine, it's huge. Right? So, while the deity service was going on, he had assigned a devotee to keep reading, so that while he was doing his deity service, he was always hearing the philosophy. So it is very important. He always mentioned that when your philosophy is strong, then you can do better japa, then you can do better kirtan. And if you do better kirtan, then you can do better japa, and if you do better japa, then you can understand better. So all go in a circle. There is nothing greater than each. Everything is equally important, and everything has to be done. Right? So therefore, the central point for all of this is, these things we cannot understand of our own accord. Right? Materially we might be qualified, we might have bachelors and masters and a few more other degrees, but that only enables us to read. But what is hidden between the lines, only a devotee Bhagavata, only a devotee can reveal it to us. So therefore it's a kind request that, when we are doing Kirtan, try to immerse yourself. It is difficult, it's not an easy task. It might be a new thing for many devotees, it's not an easy task. But at least attempt. at least attempt it. Sometimes our kirtaniyas also, they sing tunes which we may not be very good at because we are a little bit poor, but that's okay. We'd still try to follow them with our best efforts, because Krishna is not looking at how well you can sing, but rather Krishna is looking with what intent is there behind that singing. Krishna is Bhavagrahi Janardana. He takes your intent, right? Just like the famous example of Shabri. How many of you heard of Shabri's example? What was Shabri offering the Lord? And how was she offering it? Did she wash it very perfectly, dried it in the sun, hid it in a velvet cloth, and then gave it on a golden platter?
After tasting.
After tasting, she gave. So is it good? So Shabri also did after tasting. So we will also taste and give it to the Lord. Is that right? No. But Shabri's bhav, the Shabri's intent was so pure that Lord Ramchandra accepted it. Right? So these type of things you should not imitate at home. Shabri did, so therefore I will do. Then Lord will slap you and throw you out. So we should be very serious. We should follow. We should follow in the footsteps of when the devotees explain it to us. So this is what Aindra Prabhu's message was for all the devotees, is that if they're really following in my footsteps, then they should be chanting the same amount or less. They should be also performing kirtan. They should also be reading the books that Srila Prabhupada has written scrutinizingly, and they should also be performing service to the devotees. If they do all of that, then they are following my footsteps, and not only my footsteps, they are following the footsteps of the previous acharyas. So saying thus, we'll continue our kirtan. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.